It's dangerous.
Hey guys, Magaz here. 2018 is almost in the bag. And with that, there are a few videos that as a YouTuber I'm kind of obligated to do. And one of those is kind of a tradition now, and it's the 2018 Top 5 Urban and CQB Sites Countdown. If you haven't seen the two previous lists, they'll be in the end cards, so keep an eye out for those. As I stated in the last video, there are rules, and they are as follows. To be eligible for the top 5 list, I must have visited the site at least once in the past 12 months, and it cannot have featured in the last year's top 5 video. I mean, there would be the rules if I have had a busy 2018 as the 2017 was. I mean, I had to take a massive hiatus partway through the year, so I didn't really get to visit as many sites that I had on the 2018 Would Bang list. I'm going to be giving this video a little bit of leeway to the rules this year. So, to be eligible for a spot on the top 5 list, I must have visited them in the past 12 months. And they can, and probably have been featured in last year's list. With that in mind, here is the 2018 top 5 UK Urban and CQB sites according to Magaz. That's me, someone with absolutely no authority on what is or isn't the best site in the UK. So yeah, it's all opinion, my opinion, and that's what matters. Number 5. In 5th place we have a site that I've only visited a handful of times, but it's never failed to keep me entertained, deep in the action, and coming home bloody and bruised. Foundry CQB in Leeds is a small CQB site situated in, well, it's in an old foundry in Leeds. I mean, the clue's in the name, really. While it's not the biggest site on the list, it certainly has some character. The safe area is spacious and full of all the amenities that you would expect from any modern safe zone. A dedicated reception with plenty of consumables, electricity, heat for the cold months, large tables, and spaces for players to prep kit. A small kitchen and a TARDIS. That's one of those plastic blue space toilets for those of you who don't get that pun. The game zone is entered through an airlock of sorts, meaning it is impossible for any stray rounds to enter into the safe area from the game zone, which is bloody ideal if you think about it. The game zone itself is split into sections and often changes. In fact, something has been different every time we've head over there. Generally, there is a raised walkway on the right leading to an annex area that connects to another area with a big old satellite dish. This connects to a bar that, well, it's got a bar in it. A proper bar with taps and stuff. Leaving the bar puts you right on the doorstep of the top spawn. On the opposite side are a series of adjoining rooms with flashing lights, various pieces of cover, and the mid-center areas are corridors and a maze-like kill house. The site isn't big enough to get lost, but you can easily get yourself turned around and confused, probably the first or second time you head into those mazy bits. It's a whole heap of fun, especially with 5 or 6 players on a side, making for super fast-paced games and lots of action. If you are in the Leeds area, or well, I mean, even if you're not and you can travel there, definitely head over to the Foundry. In 4th place we have SOU KULA. When people first mention SOU KULA, they often talk about the aspects of the site that seem a little more sketchy. Like the mandatory full automatic blind firing game with overhead pyro RPGs on wires, or tearing around in an ACA Volkswagen Golf firing machine guns from in the windows. Actually, now I kind of read that aloud, it does sound pretty great. But all of those aspects are well marshalled and are handled with the safety and professionalism you would expect from such a well-run site. SOU KULA is a 2-story warehouse inside a scrapyard in Oldham. It is a mixture of super close CQB with some much longer range engagements when you head out into the wasteland outside. The indoors area is set out over 2 floors. The bottom is a maze of large bales wrapped in plastic in a tight, claustrophobic series of corridors, whilst the upstairs is much brighter and features a series of rooms along a roughly U-shaped corridor with a large central area featuring bunkers, race shooting platforms, and all kinds of murder holes and crazy hidey-away areas. One of my favourite little touches are the destroyable door barriers, and these are designed to look like someone has nailed wooden lats over a doorway in an attempt to hide away from zombos, but in reality they are lightweight pieces of wood attached to the doorway with Velcro, so you can just run the fuck through them, and they'll all fly off. It's great. When you head outside, you find yourself in a game area that feels like an apocalyptic wasteland full of ruined cars, skips, shipping containers, and lorry trailers. Some games do feature the use of roaming vehicles, which add a lot of excitement and energy to an already amazing site. The staff are all friendly and very experienced, keeping on top of everything as you would expect from a professional team of marshals. Now, we only managed to get there once this year, and it was covered in snow, freezing cold, and super awesome. It made for an absolutely amazing day. If you like quirky, fast-paced gameplay with a hint of comedy thrown in for good measure, SOU KULA is definitely a site to try out.
Jimmy's moved.
Right here we have our first honorary mention, The Mill. First and only The Mill is a site I've only visited once. Located in Wigan, and just like most urban sites in all buildings, it's up some stairs and spans out over a massive floor of, I mean, you guessed it, it's an old mill building. These places have really clever names, don't they? I believe the site was formerly a commercial photography studio. Being a photographer myself, I can spot the subtle clues like the massive infinity curve and various obvious sets. Part of me is really sad that it's not a studio anymore, but the other side of me is super excited to get up to my nuts in CQB guts. And up to your nuts you will most certainly get at this site. Run by first and only, The Mill is a great medium-sized close quarters site with a variety of themed game areas and lots of sneaky tunnels, corridors and very tight corners. It is quite easy to get yourself lost if you aren't familiar with the layout, but if you keep walking long enough in one direction you will find somewhere you recognise. The gameplay is what you would expect at an FNO site, fast-paced CQB action with plenty of objectives. The safe area is very clean and well thought out with a small retail area, toilets, electricity and the obligatory surface areas and tables for all that gear and crap. The staff are friendly, knowledgeable and super keen to get you out of the safe zone and into the action. The Mill is a fun site that is definitely worth a mention on this list. In third place we have SWAT KYLN. Moving up a place from last year, SWAT KYLN is an 8-floor tower block in Knowsley, north of Liverpool. It is SWAT's current flagship site with 6 usable floors of super close CQB game area. The floors are all themed, including a Wild West street with a bank, prime territory for breaking into, a room full of beds, chairs and other seating amenities, and a life-size recreation of the Pac-Man maze, which is dark, intimate and loads of fun. It feels very much like a kill house with lots of sneaky corners and paths you can push into and around to flank the enemy team. Due to its close and super tight corner in nature, pistols and super compact AEGs are your best friends on this floor. The games are often run over multiple floors which are accessible through 2 separate stairways at opposite ends of each room. The action gets very close, sometimes including tense firefights on stairways and dark corridors. If you don't enjoy super very close gameplay, then this site might not be for you. But if you enjoy getting up to your nuts in CQB guts, then you will love KYLN. As with all the previous urban sites from SWAT, the site is staffed by a team of passionate and knowledgeable marshals who love the sport and are amazingly friendly. In fact, I've yet to meet a group of site staff who I get along with better. The ground floor is where the safe zone, reception, chrono station, toilets and shooting range live. The safe area is clean, well lit and has a large number of purpose-built tables and gun racks. Everything is well thought out and solidly put together. We've been SWAT regulars since around 2006 and we will always head out to the SWAT site regardless of where it is. Like the old saying goes, you're either SWAT or you're not. Northern Alliance Airsoft takes the second place this year. Now, Northern Alliance Airsoft is a site that I've been following on Facebook for quite some time. I found it by accident and thought, yeah man, that looks pretty rad. And I've wanted to play there for a very long time. Unfortunately though, just like Camp Sparta, it is quite a drive away from me and my teammates. And my teammates are often very difficult to convince to drive much further than the local Asda. Northern Alliance is situated east of Ripon at the former RAF station Dishforth. It uses a large open area of the former installation which includes a wooded area with a number of red brick buildings dug into craters of sort I mean, it's similar to how you would expect to find ammunition storage buildings on any military base, or like the buildings at First and Only the Armory and Dragon Valley. These buildings are in two big clusters of 5 and 6, situated roughly at opposite ends of the site. There are also various buildings, bunkers, ruined structures, wooden airsoft specific buildings, ditches and roadways in between these to add to all the fun and action. The site is very vast, meaning a lot of the engagements start out over greater ranges, but more often than not end up very close and personal. Not super VF CQB, but close enough to head home with some fresh new welts at the end of the day. Unfortunately, the safe area is a little lacking. It only has covered seating for a limited number of players, which means it's first come first served, and it does have an indoor reception area. Most of the players on site had to make do with their car boots as safe areas. If this place had a proper purpose-built safe zone, I might have placed it in the top spot. But I have a tiny car, and when there's 3 of us in there trying to share the boot, it does get a little claustrophobic and messy. It can get quite chaotic where there's crap just everywhere. But other than that, the site it's highly rated. The staff know what they're doing, they know how to run a great day, and they take safety very seriously. The gameplay is fast-paced with a variety of objectives throughout the day. I had an amazing time there in the sweltering heat of summer, and it's definitely a site I'll be heading back to next year. The second honorary mention has to go to last year's top spot winner, Camp Sparta. I didn't feel it was a fair move to give it the top spot 2 years running, but I did want to mention it again as it is definitely on my 10 out of 10 would bang again sites list. Camp Sparta is an immensely large site located at the former RAF Curtin in Lindsay installation, north of Lincoln. The game area stretches out over around 20 enterable buildings in a 31-acre site, with a road system that features roaming vehicles. These vehicles can be flagged down by any team and used as gun trucks, or to save on boot leather when you're heading back to respawn. The safe area is split into 4 rooms, one for each team, but these 4 rooms can be opened up into 2 larger areas. Unlike most sites, it features electricity and proper toilets. The safety brief is unlike any I've ever seen. It's located in a lecture theatre akin to a cinema, with a projector and rows of seats. I only got to play there once this year, but we've hit up the site a good number of times now and always have a great day. The gameplay is fast and well thought out, and the marshals are on point. Several of their team are former military, with a number of those being from a medical background. These marshals ride around on the site on quad bikes with first aid and firefighting equipment to ensure everything is safe and running smoothly. If the site wasn't such a long drive away, I'd make it my regular go-to site. And we will definitely be back there in 2019. With all of the amazing sites on the list this year, first place had to go to something very special. Something different, fun, and well worth the trip to visit. The site I chose for the top spot came almost out of nowhere a few months back. I was browsing Instagram and a sponsored post for a new site called Level 2 Airsoft came up. It looked good, but I thought, yeah, that's definitely going to be hours away like all the good sites. Little did I know it was practically on my doorstep. Level 2 Airsoft in Atherton is a very well designed CQB site on the second floor of an old mill building, hence the clever name. The site features one of the most professional looking safe zones I have ever found myself in. It's bright, probably the brightest indoor safe area I've ever seen, with plenty of space for every player to have their own table with shelves underneath to keep all your bags and other gear out of the way. There's a kitchen that offers hot food, real legit working toilets and electricity. It's everything you need in a safe area. The rest of the site is all game area, which is split into separate zones, all with their own themes. The first area you enter into is an Afghan village with a market and several houses. Then there's this medieval sort of area, which has a bit of a castle feel and features a long tunnel into the bridge area, which connects the site to the jungle, the cave, the bunker, the prison. There's so many areas. It's all painted and designed to look like what it's emulating, and the ambient sound and lighting really help to sell it. The gameplay is first class and the staff are on point. Due to how close it is to home and the top quality of the staff and site, which is still expanding, I should add, it will eventually be significantly larger than it is now with a lot more game areas to play in. it's looking like it will be my go-to site for 2019. It is 10 out of 10 wood bang and highly recommended for new and grizzly experienced players alike. There we go, that's it, my top 5-ish Urban and CQB sites for 2018. Of course, as with the last video, I know there are many more sites to visit in the UK, like Black Site, The Mole, Jail, Strike Force, Bravo 1, The Department, The Armoury, South Coast CQB, Red 1, The Base, The Barracks, Slaughterhouse, Dragon Valley, Urban Assault, Vaults, and Zio, The Outpost. I mean, I could go on listing the sites for another 10 minutes, and there's guaranteed to be one that I've missed. All the sites I just rattled off are on my hit list, and if I do get to them in 2019, you might well see some of them on next year's top 5 list. Is there a site that you think should be in the top 5? Is there a place you'd recommend I head over and sling some plastic? What's your go-to home away from home? Let me know in the comments down below. If you've enjoyed this video, or you've found it remotely useful, or you've learned something, hit that like button and let me know about it in the comments. Subscribe and hit the notifications button if you haven't already. You can support the channel if you do wish to over on patreon.com/cbnpc, but don't feel obligated to do so. I'll be back soon with another video, but remember kids, the air may be soft, but our balls are hard.